Hi there, I'm Construction Gamer. Today I'm continuing with this Let's Play, looking at the update 1 for Captain of Industry, basically talking you through the basics of the game and getting us through to producing diesel, which is kind of the point at which you can start worrying a little bit less. I mean, you can't stop worrying completely, but things get a little bit easier once you start producing diesel, so we're going to get on. In the last episode, we built the most basic setup possible within about 15-minute time frame. So we've got iron production, we're producing coal for the smelter, and we've got a farm as well, and we've also built a generator and a research lab. I'll leave a call out card to that episode if you haven't seen it yet, because that is like the most basic setup that you need in order to get things up and running. So I'm going to unpause the game, playing on 2x speed just to speed through things a little bit. So I left us with our research tree. I'll just bring up the research tree. So we've researched so far power and maintenance, we've researched the beacon, construction, farming, iron and smelting you already unlock. Next thing on our list to research is vehicles and mining, but I'll probably go through that in the next episode just to go through that a little bit more in detail. Right, so I think the biggest thing for us to look at in this episode is maintenance. So we need to go to this tab here, which is buildings, and then we've got a beacon which allows us to get extra settlers. So if we place that down, as long as this is turned on, it'll send out a message, it'll send out a beacon, and every now and again we'll get some refugees. We'll bring along with them obviously the refugees, so the workers, and some supplies as well, so like construction parts or copper or rubber or something like that. And that requires power. You'll see there it requires 80 kilowatts. We're currently producing 880 kilowatts with this single generator here, but we're soon going to be eating into that power that we're generating. The diesel generator requires diesel, which we have a small amount of in the dock currently, 641, but we do need to think about producing diesel very quickly. And the settlement is full of trash. Right, okie dokie. Probably one big oversight in the last episode. Right, so I'm going to pause the game briefly. I'm going to click on housing and services, and I'm going to click on the waste collection, and then I'm going to place a waste collection facility there, because the settlers produce waste, and that waste just basically, as it says, piles up in the actual settlement itself, which isn't good. The settlers don't particularly like that, does it? Doesn't give us a negative, I don't think. I think it probably will do at some stage. But I'll unpause the game. Right, so the waste is going to need somewhere to be dumped. So this kind of falls in a little bit with the mining a bit later on, but I'll go over the mining and the dumping designations a bit more in detail in the next episode. But we need to left click on dumping designation or press Z on the keyboard, and then we can press E, and what else do we press? We press Q. That's the one. I haven't been playing this game for hundreds of hours or anything. Right, so I think with update 1 you can't build on trash anymore. So what I tend to do is, if basically I want to extend this little bit out here. I mean, trash is a good way to extend your island out anyway, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Q to take it down one level, and I'm going to go left click and hold, and then I'm going to basically drag that out. So Q and E is to raise the terrain, Q is to lower it, and then F is to produce a ramp. And then if you want to turn that ramp around, you can do. You left click on that, left click and hold, you can make a massive ramp. But you'll see here now my little truck's coming in to dump all this lovely trash into the ocean. But that will form part of our terraforming operations, so it's not such a bad thing. So we'll just dump it in the sea for now. We can do things later on with it, but for now, just dump it into the sea. So what was I up to before I got sidetracked? So we've got a diesel generator, we've got our beacon, which we're going to leave on for now, but we do need to think about housing, but I'm going to talk about that later. What we need to do is maintenance. So left click on buildings, left click on your maintenance facility, and I'm going to build this over here somewhere. Don't want it to, just doesn't really matter too much at this instance, because basically everything I do I tend to build it again anyway. But you'll see here the maintenance facility requires mechanical parts and electronics to produce 105 maintenance. Now, maintenance, if you haven't played the game, is a big part of things. We haven't got a graph at the minute, but it's best to think of maintenance in terms of a commodity. So it's something we produce and something we spend. So everything needs maintenance, does it? I think apart from these buildings here, the very starting buildings need maintenance. I'm just trying to think, possibly not that. Diesel generator, yeah, the diesel generator, yeah. So yeah, basically your starting buildings, assembly manual, your blast furnace and metal casters don't, and your coal maker doesn't. But your diesel generator requires maintenance. You can see here, this entity needs regular maintenance to function, and you'll see here it's got a certain amount of maintenance in there already stored, if you like. That's what I mean when you talk about it in terms of a commodity. Do the Jeeps? Yeah, the Jeeps need maintenance. They've got a bit of stored maintenance in them already. If you run out of maintenance, if this bar gets to 0, your vehicles will start to break, and your buildings that require maintenance will start to break. So it is an important aspect of the game. Let's just bring up what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click on this bar here. No, I'm not. I'm going to double click on it. That's the one. And then I'm going to pin left click on mechanical parts. What else? Electronics. And I think that's everything. So basically, yeah, I'm going to move quite mechanical parts and electronics quite far up the tree because they are needed for the maintenance. We need some mechanical parts. Look, you can see that's getting quite low already. So what we're going to do is we're going to build another general machines building, and we're going to build it next to the maintenance facility. We're going to build one of those, and this one is going to turn 7.5 lots of iron into 6 machine parts. Those machine parts are going to get turned into maintenance. We already have 280 electronics at the minute, so we don't have to worry too much. Obviously we do need to start thinking about producing electronics, but for now we've got a little bit of maintenance coming in. You can see there it's churning away. So as the game goes on, you will have to keep this building continually fed. It has to be fed like constantly to have that maintenance. It will build up to a certain level. If it'll get to 100%, then it'll stop requiring these things. But in general, this will be a never-ending circle of things that you have to supply with electronics and machine parts, basically. Okie dokie. So we've got the maintenance broadly covered. I hope I've managed to explain that. If you've got any questions about maintenance, let me know in the comments below, and I will try and answer them as best that I can. All right, okie dokie. We've got a little bit of an issue here. Right, can you move? No, you're trapped. Right, so we've got our first trapped vehicle. We're going to have to send this vehicle to depot to be scrapped. Now we want to, there is no operational vehicle depot that can accept this vehicle, and it's trapped. It's a little bit annoying. It's my fault because I hadn't built a ramp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press, I'm not going to press any because it already comes up. So what I want to do is have a little bit of a ramp coming down to there, like so. Right, so we have unlocked the vehicle depot though, which is good because we researched, what have we researched? Vehicles and mining, which unlocks the vehicle depot. So you can see here we've got a new option, buildings for vehicles in brackets, and then we're going to left click on that, and then we're going to place this massive building here, which basically allows us to build vehicles. So we're going to place that down, and then I'll show you that recovery process. And that allows us actually to talk about Unity in a little bit of detail. So basically, two of the big commodities, I guess, in this game are maintenance. You have to think of it as a commodity, and also Unity. So Unity is produced when you supply your settlers with things like food, and once they're healthy, things like that. And you will get other things later on. So you'll get household goods, water, electricity. Just trying to think what else off the top of my head. But yeah, you'll be able to add to this list basically, and you'll get a grand total of Unity that you acquire each month. So again, Unity wants to be thought of as a bit of a commodity which you can produce, but you can also spend it. So you can see that here the research lab is consuming Unity, and the beacon as well. As long as the beacon is turned on, that's consuming Unity. If I turn the beacon off, it will no longer consume Unity. Air pollution, land pollution, landfill pollution will also kind of add to the Unity loss. But I'm just thinking, I think this is a new feature since update 1. As we're dumping garbage into the sea and we're not getting a landfill pollution negative score, I'm guessing dumping waste into the sea doesn't add to your landfill. If I just build if I dumped the waste on land, I think you would get a negative score. And it's similarly with air pollution as well. Once we start building more things, the air pollution score will go up basically, and later on you will start to get diseases and things like that, which will also actively reduce your Unity, but it'll also kill people as well, which isn't good. So yeah, that's just Unity very briefly. But what does that actually mean for the game? So Unity is something you can accrue. We have 35.8 Unity. We're accruing 1.51 Unity per month. What does Unity allow us to do? Well, amongst other things, it allows us to recover vehicles. Unity is anything Unity related is purple. So any feature that requires Unity is purple. So this vehicle is stuck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on this icon here. Recover vehicle will cost us 0.2 Unity. This vehicle will be disassembled and reassembled at the nearest depot. Left click on that, he will vanish into midair, and then he will reappear as if by magic at the depot there. So if you get any trucks stuck anywhere or any vehicles of any type stuck anywhere, that's how you recover them. Unity as well can be spent on boost. So you'll see here, if we need lots of iron produced very quickly, then we can boost things. But the only thing to take into account with regards to iron production, if I boost this, it's going to produce 48 molten iron. And obviously these are only accepting 12, so you're going to have to boost both of these as well. So when you've got like a big supply chain like this, and obviously it needs more coal being fed into it as well, then you do need to think about kind of boosting the entire of the supply chain, if you get what I mean. So now these are accepting 24 molten iron, but obviously we've got a bit of an oversupply of iron at the minute, so we're just going to turn that boost off there like so. Right, so we've talked a little bit about Unity. We've talked a little bit about the maintenance, which is now up to 100%, is it? Yeah, you can see here, now that the maintenance is up to 100%, it's stopped kind of demanding things, but later on in the game, this bar will never be like, it'll never stop. As more and more things get built, as you build more and more vehicles, the demand on the maintenance will obviously increase. So it's a huge part of the game, actually making sure that your maintenance is always supplied. I should have clicked on that that notification. Just means that we've got new refugees. And if you click on the bar, it'll actually show you what they've brought with them, but I've forgotten to do that. Trading dock, we'll just click off that for now. Mining control tower, we'll click off that for now, and storage as well, and water. And brickworks, we will also turn off for now. I think I know it's quite a short episode, but I think I'm going to leave it there for that, just to let that Unity and maintenance sink in, because I think for the next episode I'd like to talk about mining in a little bit more detail. I think it deserves its own episode, but yeah, we've done some important things there. So we've talked a little bit about dumping, and we've talked about the Unity, so I'm going to leave it there for today. Only a short episode, but there are episodes every day, so it shouldn't be a big issue. I'm going to leave it there for today. Say until next time, bye bye.